Hi, I'm Tina, and this is my van, Drea. I picked out the name because on one of my first adventures, I rescued a baby squirrel and learned that a squirrel nest is called a dray. This is a Dodge Ram ProMaster 1500 with a 136-inch wheelbase, and it's a high roof, which I absolutely love. I have been wanting to take my adventures a little further afield so that I can be comfortable and stay out longer and do more things. So I've been looking into van life for quite some time, and actually it's kind of funny because last year on this exact date I test drove my first Ram ProMaster, and it was a 136 as well. I will get into the pricing in a later video when I break down all of the different types of costs that it took to build out this van. It was completely unbuilt when I bought it, but the total price from the dealership for Drea out the door was $22,000. So let's start on the outside. I know often this is not the part that I want to see most in a van tour, so I'll try to keep it short. The outside we have done quite a bit with, actually. The obvious change was the windows. So the two larger windows, we've got a non-opening, like a fixed window on the slider, and a window on the other side I'll show you. Those are by Van Tech. So there's the other one. It's hard to see with the glare, but this one also opens. I'll show you that from the inside. And then I put two on the back, and these are van windows direct, and they also both slide open. These are not vinyl windows, they are glass. I put in running boards. This is the shorter one on the driver's side. It does make a huge difference getting in and out. I'm not quite 5'4", and I was struggling a little bit. The driver's side and passenger's side weren't so bad, but entering the cargo area at the slider was definitely a big step. It doesn't have the indented step like some of the other vans do. So I was gonna put in a handle, but these are by iBoard. I found them very easy to install. Other than being in a weird position under my van for a while. And it made a huge difference. I don't feel the need for a handle inside now. Moving into the cab. So not a lot in the cab that's changed. I put in a floor mat, super easy to vacuum this one, but it is not really designed for a slick bottom. These are supposed to grip into carpet, so it does slide a little bit, but it's actually not too bad. I added this cup holder that extends out so that I can reach my cup easier because these are pretty low and the seats are notoriously very high. And then I put in an organizer here that holds my glasses. In this pocket, I keep sunscreen and bug spray and my window screens. And up here, I also keep my little level. So when I'm stopped to camp, I set it on my kitchen counter and look each way to see if it is unlevel from side to side or from front to back. I also installed a rearview mirror, which I do not need because I have a backup camera, but it does actually help seeing out the back windows. And what I really put it in for was so that when my dogs are in the back, I can see what they're up to. Another good use for that is if you hear a noise, you can see what's falling. If you didn't secure something, or you can tell that a cupboard door is open, so next time you stop, you can shut that before you lose your things. One last thing in the cab to mention is my phone holder. I can use that for recording the road, recording myself, and also very good for holding my phone when I'm using the map. So come on in with me and I'll show you around. Another thing I did in the cab is I put in a swivel on the passenger side. This is super nice to sit on sideways and use the driver's seat as a footrest, or turn it all the way back and have an extension of the living space. So we'll start at the front and we'll work our way to the back. Up here is where I store coats and blankets and towels, hats, and also I have a footstool This works really well for seeing in at the back if there's things that I'm not finding, and also as a footrest because I built my seat box too high, and like I said before, the chairs in the cab are quite high and I am not quite tall. Another thing I keep up here is a notebook that has all of, it's actually more like a file folder, and I keep in here all of the different owner's manuals for the van. Right now, they are just shoved in willy-nilly from the build still. As we were completing each thing, I would put them in so that I could refer back to them and they'd be in one place, but one of my projects is to alphabetize those. This is my completed insulated cab curtain. So this gives privacy, and also the light color and the flowers just makes it look kind of outdoorsy and gives it a pretty touch. To make this, I just used a shower curtain rod, 2 shower curtains. It's gray on the cab side, and then in between there is a white flannel sheet for added insulation. Just slides back like this. Under the seat I keep my shoes, and I have a garbage that kind of tucks back in right there. In the kitchen, Dave did the upper cabinets, but I installed the hardware. This kitchen cabinet, which is a little too light to have this motion sensor light turn on, but when it does turn on, it looks like that. Has the struts to keep it open, and on this side I keep my dishes, bowls, mug, and my coffee maker. You might notice that this is not a French press or a fancy drip, and I have nothing against those. I actually had a French press, which I really love the coffee that comes out of a French press, but I really hate cleaning the grounds out of a French press. So it's super easy to just plug this in, hit start, and the grounds are in a filter to be thrown. This one needs a little help. I want to hang the paper towels so that I have more room inside this cupboard. This is where I started putting some of our location stickers. I didn't want them out on the front of the cupboard doors, but this is a little too hidden, so I'm gonna rethink that. Also, originally you can see there's a plug in here. This is where I was gonna store my electronics so they could charge, but I really didn't have as much kitchen storage as I wanted. I put a cup hook here for my mug, but I put a little piece of foam over it so it can't scratch the mug handle, and it doesn't make any noise. In the other side is where I keep my dry goods, and right now everything's pretty empty because I'm in between trips. The kitchen counter is a butcher block that I cut a hole out of and to put. This is just a sink from IKEA. I like it because it's not too big but not too small, and it has a good depth for washing dishes. The faucet is just a rechargeable Dometic. You just tap the top and out comes the water, which moves us down. Oh, I wanted to show you, right now it's kind of full of stuff because this teapot needs a home, this kettle. Not sure where to put that. Bear spray. This is the other part of the sink, and it is a drying rack, which is super helpful. So I can just put dishes in there, let them dry, and then stow them again. But also I can put things in like that kettle, and things I need to get to quickly in the night, where I just either don't have a place for it or I want to have it handy. Dave did the upper cabinets and I did the lower cabinet, although Dave put in this hardware. These hinges were giving me grief. In this one I have my water system. So this is my fresh water. It is about 10 gallons, and I've got my cleaning supplies in front. I have a little bungee to keep it from sliding. It's not much of a bungee, but it does the trick. And then this is my gray water. The sink drains just straight into it. On this side, I have a pull out with my pots and pans, and a pull out with my measuring cup and silverware, lighter. It's kind of a junk drawer too. I've got scissors in there. And then the top is my single burner propane stove. This window opens if I want to cook in here, and that one's very stiff. I need to work on that. With the window open, I have cooked in here on the countertop just fine. And Typically though, I like to cook outside on either picnic table, or I bring a folding table with me as well that I'll show you later. Really wanted an upright fridge, so I got this Rec Pro. It is only a fridge, not a freezer, which is fine. It is not on right now. I have it turned off, but it does the trick. Lots of room in here, actually more than I meant for it to be, because I could not estimate the cubic feet when I was reading about it. But I'm not sorry. Before I get too far, I should mention the ceilings, which are tongue and groove cedar, and we've got just the 4 LED lights. I love the ceiling. It's so beautiful. Dave did the ceiling, excellent job. And then I have this Max Air fan, which I have off because I didn't want it it's really quiet, but I wanted to make sure the sound wasn't compromised on the video. I say this as an airplane is going over, which is very noisy, but I love this thing. When I have the back window cracked, it pulls the air right across the bed like air conditioning, and it is so wonderful. One thing I would like to add is a partition under the bed, but right now I have a couple drawers here. In here I've just got some odds and ends, games, and coloring. And under here I usually keep just my dog supplies. It's got some other stuff in here still from the festival we went to. And then this is my seat box, and I will show you inside of it as well because it has my heater in it. Cushions ended up being pretty big. What I usually do with them, because they're not velcroed down or anything, is when I'm driving, I actually toss them right here because they keep the refrigerator from opening. Very handy, perfect size. So here is the unadorned box, and you can see the heater vent. Just like the kitchen cabinets and the bedroom cabinets, the seat box also has a strut, so I can open it and it holds open while I get things out inside. On this side, I don't put soft things in here anymore, so in case there's any diesel fumes, they won't absorb them, but I keep my fire extinguisher. I have another propane burner for cooking if I need to cook 2 things, and then on this side is the diesel and the heater. This is a Chinese diesel heater, and I will have to put the name in the description because I think it's Vivek. Oh, I also store my tabletop in here because I have a non-name brand Lagoon table mount, and it mounts right here on the side of the box. Not only can I use it as a desk to work on or to eat at, or even the person across from me, we can use it both to eat off of or set drinks on, but I can also use it to put drinks on outside. Cheers. While we're in this area, this is what I have for a bathroom. I have a, really for emergencies, it's a little collapsible padded seat, basically a bucket with a lid, but kind of nice. You could use that as a footstool. I put in there some liners and some cedar shavings, and then I have toilet paper in there, wet wipes. I prefer to find a campground with a bathroom, but that makes it super easy if I do need to use the bathroom in the middle of the night and there is a chance of bears, although I do have this handy. I put in this hook in case I wanted to hang leashes or hats there, and I have quite a few of these magnetic hooks I can move around. I really like that the van is unfinished because I love the magnets aspect of this thing. Very, very handy. And then I've got my little fairy lights and decorations. Went to an arts fair and Fat Dragonfly makes these. Love the art, but especially drawn to that because it is a Ram ProMaster. This is the upper cabinet. It goes over the foot of our bed. Right now it's empty. Like I said, I'm in between adventures. On this side, I put toiletries and journals and pajamas and things. The other side holds my clothes. And when Dave and I went away for a week, he had that side, I had this side, and it was enough for an entire week. It shuts and holds like the rest of ours with magnets. I just recently added these 2 baskets to the back. Those are really great for putting in your cell phone or whatever. My sliding windows in the back are wonderful. This one doesn't have a bug screen on it right now. And this one, I just made this with mesh and magnets. So basically I can slide this open, bugs can't get in, and that pulls the air right through. There's the matching basket. And then Dave made these walls that have like the little inset because he is 6'1" and he fits pretty well across here. I think it's perfect for me. And then we have these little night lights, and they have USB chargers underneath as well. Frodo and Luna are helping me model my full-size bed. It is so comfortable. I get the best night's sleep in this thing. I got this little rechargeable fan up here, but I have never needed to use it. The Max Air fan has been enough. This is my power readout, and I have this hook. This is actually a hook looking like a mushroom. Love this. I put something over it at night because as the refrigerator is on and has draw, the light on this lights up, and I have not read the manual yet to see how to keep that from turning on in the night and being all bright. It is a Renogy, as is most of my electrical system, but I'll get into that in a moment. Another thing I've added here are the bug screens for the slider. Priceless. Just absolutely love this thing. I love this bug screen. So nice to just have this door open. Just walk in and not let the bugs follow me. I don't know if I mentioned the floors. These are vinyl house flooring, but I got really flexible, scratch resistant, stain resistant, water resistant floors, and so far they are great. I got this oak trim to kind of finish it out and make it look nice, and I've really loved them so far. Now for the garage area. And one nice thing about the ProMaster, although I try not to push it too much, is these doors do fold all the way open. I have Dave outside with me so he can go over the important stuff, the guts of it all. But I have a lot of redundancy here, so I do have a Jackery 1000. Originally, I was going to do a no build. I'd already bought this at the time, so I do keep that in there just in case. I have some little spare parts in this bin here. And there is my fruit hammock. See, I'm a real van lifer. I have one. Does it have to be installed? Here is my mat that goes outside the door. Oh, I keep my window screens under there. I wanted to show you just how easy these window covers are. They have a lighter layer on the back so that it's very plain looking from the outside, and a pretty color on the inside. So they have magnets in the edges. All I have to do is put it up like that. And if I align it correctly, there's no light coming through. So it also works really well for blacking out the inside and making it darker, as well as providing that privacy. This is my propane grill. And in here I keep hammock and extra propane, dog tie-outs, bungee cords. This is my way too big toolbox, but has come in very useful. And then these are a must-have, and this is the levelers. I have two folding tables. I'm kind of losing my light here. A little one that I use most, and then this bigger one I actually got for a festival. But it fits right now. Unless it gets too crowded, I'm just going to leave it in there. I always have my recovery boards and a folding chair, and then this bungee cord holds a second 5-gallon water container, so I can travel with 10 gallons of fresh water. I do have two lights under here. You can't see this one because it fell somewhere in here, but they are magnetic and they don't usually fall that often. Frodo's modeling the depth of the garage area very nicely. Thank you, Frodo. We're gonna have to look in there though, bud. So Dave installed the electrical. He has the most intimate knowledge of it. He has it extremely well organized and labeled. In here I have two 200 amp hour lithium batteries by Renogy. I went with Renogy for pretty much all of the electrical, just to kind of make sure everything went well together. Coming back up front in the garage section, I have a DC to DC converter and a 2000 watt inverter, which was much larger than I really needed. We are able to use the van as a third power source to charge up the batteries, and we are able to run 120 volt appliances as well as the 12 volt appliances. The fridge is 12 volt and the lights and the heater, but my work computer, Dave's sleep machine, the coffee maker, those are 120.
Master on off, so if something goes wrong, we've got the main master on off that shuts everything off all at once. Like she said, it's all labeled. We'll clean this up after it's been in use for long enough to know that we don't have to change anything. We can heat these wires up, but for right now, the most important thing, I mentioned it earlier in the electrical build, is you've got to make sure you've got a really good ground or your system won't work. So here's our really good ground.
We do have a shore power port on this thing, but we have not used it yet. We have not needed to. On the roof, which I'll show next, we have two 100 watt solar panels, also by Renogy, and that has been all we've needed to charge those batteries. We laugh when it goes below 97%. I think what's the lowest we've seen at 94%,
yeah,
I think.
94, yeah.
So they do an awesome job, but granted, so far we've only used it during the summer months, and it's been pretty sunny this summer, so that's great. But it is nice to have the 3 different ways of charging the batteries should we need to. Anything you want to add, Frodo? I designed this frame out of Unistrut. Works out really well. It has a super low profile. And I have up here 2 Renogy 100 watt solar panels, which seem to do just fine charging up my batteries, and everything has maintained its very tight, non-slippy, non-wobbly secureness, which is fantastic. I would like to get a ladder. Right now, I don't have one. I'm just using one from the house. But I think I want to be able to get up here and put something over these in case of hail. And if they get debris on them, I'll need to clean them off. I can't think of all the changes I want to make, but one of them also is you can see where it's getting kind of dinged up on the road. And I either want to put rhino cover on that front hood to keep it protected, or I would really love to save up enough money to make this van not pure white. In the right lighting, you can still see that it was a fleet vehicle from Hennessy Industries. I have the door covering it now, but on that back panel it says that. So she is retired. She's happily retired, and we're going on adventures. She needs a new look. This is what I'm going to be calling an almost finished van tour, because there are definitely some things that will get cleaned up in the future. Sorry, I'm being attacked by cuteness. It's only been out on a few trips. The more I go out with it, the more I'll understand exactly what I would love to change, what I did that I don't like, what there is still to do that I just hadn't heard of. It's a tremendous amount of research and a tremendous amount of learning curve. A lot of people say I can't wait to do the next one. I'm not going to say this. For one thing, I really love this one. And I really just want to get out there and see the world. So I hope that this van build inspires you. I knew nothing about almost any of this type of building when I first started. Learned a ton. Hope it inspires you to do your own. I want to parrot a lot of other van tours where they say just do it. If there's any way you can do it, you don't need to have a Ram ProMaster high roof. I've seen some amazing builds with minivans, cars, small cars. It's amazing what you can fit in there, and there's some really cool inventive devices that will help you be comfortable and safe on the road. So just get out there. This world is incredible. Even just your own little corner of the world, you're going to find some really amazing things. If you'd like to follow along on our adventures, please subscribe to Hiker T and see what we get up to. I hope to get out again very soon and show you some amazing places.